What's going on, all you wild mutants out there? It's your two favorite X-Men back here for Cinephellas. I'm James Logan Howlett. That's my good mate over there.
And I'm Henry Summers.
Oh, God. That's why we're back tonight to talk about X-Men 97, the brand new series that everybody's talking about that hit Disney Plus a few months ago. Of course, me and this guy over here are huge fans of the original X-Men animated series back in the 90s. And this basically takes place right after that.
Now belongs to me. My X-Men.
Professor X essentially going up into space to heal, and it basically picks up with the X-Men crew led by Cyclops taking over, the lead role here, really trying to figure out engage his way, to the next chapter.
What a kick-ass reintroduction to this universe and this animated series. Really looks exactly like it did back in the day. It gives you all the nostalgia factor. It gives you that same introduction, the theme song hitting. Everything just takes you back to the 90s and takes us back to being kids and enjoying this series just as much as we did back then. They really did a great job on this. Bo DeMeo, the writer of this show, did a fantastic job crafting these episodes. He made a season long arc here. Every episode really flowed well. There weren't too many one off episodes. Everything really meshed well together and led one episode right into the other, all the way to the end. The animation is great. All the characters you got to be reintroduced to, it just reminded me how badass the X-Men are and how much I've missed them, especially in this animated form.
Yeah, even the animation kicked it up a little bit. It kept it at the 2D, but the colors just really popped out. And, getting reintroduced to these characters, all these years later was really incredible. The reintroduction of Magneto, the thirst trap himself, with his long, beautiful hair showing up and like taking over for Professor X and reintroducing the rest of the cast behind me. Of course, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Gambit's my favorite Wolverine, obviously. Bishop, Beast is always fantastic. Morph, just all these characters showing up at the mansion and seeing where they're at with life. And what I liked about this season is each character you really care about them. They have a really great arc. Every character behind me, and which I didn't feel like we got with the original animated series, especially Cyclops' character. I thought he was kind of annoying and boring in the original, but they really fleshed out his character between being a father and a leader at the same time.
Yeah, his character was badass. He was really the center of focus for most of this season. He really did feel like the leader of the X-Men in this. Surprisingly enough, Wolverine, Logan's kind of like a he's one of the side characters in this. They don't spend a lot of time with him, but like they give you just enough to obviously we're gonna love Wolverine. We love that character, but it's not a focus on him. He's one of the supporting cast. It's Cyclops leading this team. And yeah, like you mentioned, everybody gets their chance to shine here. Characters that I wasn't very familiar with, in the X-Men lore. I didn't grow up reading the comics like you did. So, me learning about these characters is coming from this show and from the old animated show. And I felt like, yeah, this season did a great job with that. And the overall arc of the show and who the villains were this season was great too. We got to see some classic villains on screen. And then, Magneto, like you mentioned, him being a good guy this time around really, changed things up. And it really felt fresh and exciting, and the action was awesome. If you could see the action that they were able to do on this animated show, if they could put that into live action, you could just imagine how awesome it would be. But it looks fantastic in animation, and there were several episodes that really stood out as far as action wise. The one on the top of my mind that like really kicked the season into high gear and led right up into the end was the Genosha episode where they had that big battle where they're going to have like a peaceful meeting there with the other mutants, and it turned into like an all-out war.
Turned into a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely really incredible. There's a lot on the line, but what I really appreciated about this series is them adapting a lot of the storylines from the comics. Trial of Magneto, Life, Death, Fatal Attractions, and Operation Zero. Incorporating the storylines but putting their own kind of take on it at the same time. So it really fills in a lot of the gaps I thought, and just really interesting to see what all these characters go through. They have a lot of trauma in this, Storm losing her powers, Jean Grey, the variant, Scott Summers having the child, which would eventually become Cable. Just each character going through a lot, Jubilee in this as well. But Gambit really comes to mind because I thought he had a lot more to do, and I just love that character. And of course, the romance that he has and the ultimate essentially demise of Gambit's character in the series.
Yeah, this felt like an adult animated series, one of the first that we've seen from Marvel Animation, and it kicked ass. I love this show, and this series was amazing from start to finish here. The villains, Mr. Sinister, he was awesome to see up on there. His character was really nefarious. And, seeing the Sentinels again, those are like iconic for the X-Men series, seeing them, how they fly and how they come down and had the big battles with the X-Men. That's classic X-Men for me. And then towards the end of the season, you see some unexpected deaths on this show too. Like really shocking things happen that, with them dropping 1 week or, one episode every week, it made you wait to see like, damn, is that really like, did we really just see the end of that character? It kept you guessing all the way up into the end.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you, my man. Super excited for this, and they just threw it all at us, bringing into the MCU, bringing in a lot of cameos that you wouldn't expect, which without spoiling too
Yeah.
much, but some really famous superheroes showing up along the way was really cool. Everything looked incredible. Like all the fight sequences, all the bad guys showing up, like you were saying, Bastion, Mr. Sinister, Trask. There's a bunch, people showing up, and I'm not really sure who's going to survive. And then you see the rest of the team picking up the pieces and what they're going to do next and how they're going to keep it together. And always the fight between humans and mutants, right? Each episode you're on the edge of your seat, like what's going to happen next, cliffhanger, and then leading up until the end. But just really phenomenal television. I haven't watched animation or cartoons in a while, only once in a while with my kid, but this made me super excited, made me feel like a kid again, and all the reasons why I fell in love with the X-Men being my favorite group of superheroes since back in the day, and they always will be. The only negative remark, like you were saying earlier, my favorite being Wolverine, yeah, didn't get as much time in the series. It's kind of more in the backseat most of the time, the supporting character, and I wanted to see more from him. What happens to his character at the end was really surprising too, and makes you think and guess like what's going to happen next. Voice cast, a lot of people returning to voice these characters from like the original TV series. Cal Dodd playing Wolverine, Allison Seeley Smith as Storm, Lenore Zan as Rogue, and George Buza as Beast, all returning to voice the characters. So it really feels like you're going back in time. Really awesome. So that being said, I'm going to give X-Men 97. What am I going to give it? A 5 out of 5. Wolverine hair pieces.
Yeah, dude, this was awesome from start to finish for me. I looked forward to every episode each and every week. And then, talking to you about it after each episode, like, damn, did that really happen? Like trying to get some insight from you of what was going to happen next. The surprises along the way, like the costume change that happened in one of the episodes where they got the other alternate costumes was awesome. I feel like they really, put everything into this first season. They put everything on the line and showed you just how awesome this Marvel X-Men universe is, and seeing them interact with those other characters that showed up along the way too was awesome, and kind of a preview of what we're going to get in the live action form. I hope they retain the look of this animated series because that's what the X-Men, you can picture the X-Men. I picture the animated versions and the way they look now. And it's cool that obviously Hugh Jackman's finally getting the yellow suit, the yellow and blue suit in Deadpool and Wolverine. It's going to be awesome to see. But this animated cartoon, this is, the perfect X-Men. You're not going to see anything better than this version, really, to be honest with you. I want to know what happened behind the scenes that got the showrunner like fired, Bo DeMayo, because it's not because of his work, that's for sure. It shows how much he put into each and every storyline that he created in the whole season arc and everything. He did a fantastic job, and I know he's still going to be involved, a little less in season 2, but I'm happy he's still going to be there in some capacity because I give him credit for a lot of, the things that worked, and most everything did. So with that being said, yeah, we both loved X-Men 97. It's an easy 5 out of 5 Jean Grey hair pieces.
It's definitely the best animated show of the year thus far, but yeah, the best thing that Marvel's put out in years, honestly. As you said, I don't think they're ever going to get this live adaptation of these characters. I meant X-Men, the animated series, just gets it perfect across the board and fleshes out the characters and leaves you wanting more, especially at the end of this, kind of splitting it up and where they're going to take this next and what other characters they're going to bring in. It's going to be very interesting, but I'm super excited to see, season two and where they go with these characters. But anyways, want to hear from all you wild mutants out there. What did you like about X-Men 97? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite series of 2024 thus far? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these Wild Sentinels on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
And before we let you go, we should say to stick around after the credits. Make sure to watch post credits because that last episode drops a nice little morsel to lead into season two, leading into some big things here with these wild mutants. So thank you for joining us for our review of the entire first season of X-Men 97. We can't wait to be back and review the second season. It's going to be a long wait. They got a lot of work to do on the second season yet. So next year at the earliest, I'm afraid. But man, this season was well worth the wait. Thank you guys so much. And until the next Cinephellas TV review, I'm Uncle Henry Summers.
And I'm Uncle Logan Myers signing out until the next TV review. Cheers.